our experience because we started our journey as a services organization in the banking industry. And what we have seen in the last couple of years is once we have been working on in and around the data, we have seen that the customers have been having silos of the data within their premises, whether it is on data centers or on cloud, and they have been trying to resolve these issues by setting out the warehouses, moving it to lake houses, and the cloud adoption has also been there in the last couple of years. So there has been the silos within the customer environment. The regulations has become the challenges. If they are looking to build any kind of a real-time analytics, that becomes a challenge for them. With the introduction of an AI, hallucination is another area where people have been seeing a pain at this particular point in time. And as the data is growing, the amount of cost in terms of managing the data also becomes a challenge. And the last thing is the skill sets. So our innovation has been in and around these area lines where we came up with a solution through our Tentor data platform of how can we make sure that we build a logical view of the data across the different sources of the data, whether they are on premises, whether they are on cloud, whether it is a data lake or a lake house. How can I build a logical view of the data across? Second thing is, how can I make sure that I have a unified governance, put it across the different platforms altogether? How should I make sure that we are able to provide a real-time analytics solutions utilizing our platform, making sure that how we can reduce the hallucination in the era of generative AI by using a RAG technology, making sure that how we can optimize the infrastructure cost by optimizing the queries that we are putting onto the underneath systems. And the last thing is unifying it under a single umbrella so that the skill set requirements are taken into consideration with a local platform altogether. So this is the customer journey for us. We have been working with the customers based on starting from the incubation of handholding the customers, of ingesting the data onto our platform. This is just a logical mapping of the data. We have the connectors across most of the systems which are available at this particular point in time, making sure that once we are building the connections across the different streams of data, whether they are on premises or cloud, a unified governance that is put across it. How should we make sure that we are taking care of the data engineering through a low-code platform? And once the data is curated, and how should we be able to utilize that data directly from this system with less of a coding efforts that is required? And most importantly, what we have done is that we have built a kind of a Play Store kind of a stuff for the banking industry, where we have built the data products and the AI products within the unified consumption layers. The customer can either utilize our data models or our data products, or they can utilize the platform to build their own set of products. So the platform spreads across the different domains of the banking industry, whether it is treasury, risk, lending, or it is with a core banking system. It makes sure that with the different privileges put it across the governance layer, the data is shared with all the privileges and with a right kind of lineage and a quality that is put it across. So as of now, we have built certain products on our platform, which is reconciliation. We have built the standardization of unifications, the next business objects and offers, the fraud, where we have eliminated the rule-based engines of the data by bringing the AI into it. We have also built the generative AI engine, helping the customers in terms of providing them the insights on by using the NLPs and giving them the reports, as well as train the DocBot on the RBI regulations so that they don't need the business analysts. They can look into the system and they are able to get all the regulations related data from the system itself. So this is the broad framework of our platform, starting from the ingestion to the federation layer, which spans across the different systems altogether. And as I mentioned, we have the data products as well as the AI products, which are there as a part of this. So this
Tantor
is
is built on
the
Kubernetes,
demo.
making
I
it
just want
scalable and flexible.
before I move further, is the audio audible for the demo for this particular thing, or how it is?
Yes, it is.
Oh, fantastic.
Tantor is built on Kubernetes, making it scalable and flexible. It's a low-code/no-code platform that can be installed on-premises, in the cloud, or in a hybrid cloud environment. Upon logging in, you will be directed to the dashboard. This provides an overview of your created connections, workflows, metadata statistics, and the scheduler's health status. Projects in Tantor act as isolated environments for specific use cases. After creating the project, we will select it and proceed to create a connection. Here we will choose the connection type as Oracle and enter the necessary Oracle database details. We can limit a connection to act as only a source or target or both. We will test the connection and click on Create Connection to finalize the setup. Now, we will demonstrate replicating the structure of the source table along with the constraints and metadata in the target database. To migrate data, select the source table, apply any necessary filters using a where clause, and schedule the job to run at your convenience. Tantor also allows federated access to your data, which is stored across various structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data sources, allowing you to create views and query data from all these sources simultaneously. You can connect multiple databases and query archive and production databases in real time. Creation of views is also supported. Now, we will showcase querying data from Oracle, Snowflake, and Hive simultaneously. As you can see, data is being fetched from all of the 3 databases and collated together in real time. We will now create a view on these databases. Querying this view showcases the ability of our data federation layer to provide for a logical unification of customers' various databases. This data federation layer also acts as an input gateway and supports data governance processes and can act as an input for the data required by your AI or ML and GenAI applications. Now let us take a look at Tantor AI solution. First up, we have QueryGen. This tool is designed to empower business users and reduce dependency on technical teams for database queries. It utilizes database metadata from the Tantor Data Federation layer to generate SQL queries from user questions or default options. But that's not all. Users can confirm results and even add training data. This training data can include DDL commands, documentation, or SQL queries. It's a learning system that gets smarter with use. Moving on to our next solution, the RAG agent. This uses what we call the corrective RAG, or CRAG framework. It significantly reduces hallucinations in AI responses. The system ranks candidates based on both likelihood and factual alignment. Users can upload documents or links, which are then converted into vector embeddings. The result? RAG agent provides highly relevant information to the language model, ensuring accurate responses. It's like having a fact checker built right in. Now, let's talk about DocBot. This solution was designed with the banking sector in mind, specifically for regulatory compliance. DocBot uses local RAG to completely eliminate hallucinations. It stores regulatory documents as vector embeddings and provides responses based solely on this regulatory data. In a field where accuracy is paramount, DocBot delivers. Next up is the Tantor AI ML module. ML module automates the steps in building predictive machine learning models. This includes data preparation, model type selection, and feature selection.
Yeah.
Can we have the timer for the Q&A, please? Yeah. Mr. Daria, you would like to go first? So, first question.
So, pretty good work. I would like to really understand at a deeper level. So, what is the open source framework you have used to really build this?
Yeah, do you want to answer this?
So, Bhupesh, at this point in time, when we are talking, there are multiple systems. We have taken care of the ingestion layer. So that is completely built. So what happens when we are talking about the ingestion layer? This is a complete low-code platform where it generates our own script, and we are at the back end using a Kubernetes. On top of Kubernetes, it is a complete Spark code which gets automated and it is scheduled. So that is for the ingestion layer. For data virtualizations, we have used some of the platform like Presto Trino, which we have integrated in such a way that we can utilize its power to develop on top of it. And since we are building the connections, so we have a complete metadata which comes in our database. So as soon as I connect to any of the source system, it will fetch all the metadata from the particular tables and those structure, whether it is on the source system, any of the RDBMS system, or even we have built up a CDC where it can also read on the Kafka part. So if anything on the IoT stream. So that comes, and that platform comes as our virtualization layer, where we are built on top of it, and we can also expose the APIs to that. And the third layer, which is on the Gen AI, we have used some of the Ulama models.
So Llama 3.1 is the model on which currently the system has been trained on.
Okay, got it. So, so RAG capability and other stuff, you're getting it from Olama. Okay. So what is your innovation? Very briefly, in when maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute.
So the two innovations what we have in this one is we have built the optimized system where it actually once it is going and putting a query onto the source system, the queries are very optimized, which actually helps in terms of reducing the cost. And the second important thing is the RAG has been built within by ourselves, which makes sure that there are limited API hits, which happens again onto the cloud, which is again optimizing the cost. The third important thing here is that we have predefined build the data products. So the turnaround time for the customer in terms of the deployment of the product is significantly less. Like Recon is one of the products, Unification is another product. So we have 6 products which has been built as of now, and we have another set of products in the banking industry which are in pipeline.
Thank you. But there are a lot of similar products, whether it is Data Robot or Microsoft Azure, right? Which offer these kind of end-to-end capabilities, right? So I'm not really sure how you're going to really compete, but you must have thought on these lines.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Over to Dr. Zhang.
Wonderful. Actually, the previous questions were very helpful. Your response already addressed some of the concerns I had. So you also said that you could deal with hallucination, right? Could you say a few words regarding how you dealt with the hallucination? And in addition, right, we know large language models quickly evolve. So is it possible for large language model to even do those things in a more automated way? So in the future, so are you ready for those changes that will happen in the future? Yeah, a response would be appreciated.
Right. So as you rightly pointed out, Professor Zhang, that these things are moving very quickly as of now. And what we have built right now for our generative AI product is corrective RAG. Now there are other types of RAG which are also built. Hallucination has been lowered to a large extent because of this corrective nature, wherein we are referring both to links, website links, Wikipedia links, any link which the bank has to refer to, as well as the bank's internal RAG, where it refers to its original own documents. Both of these are then embedded and stored in a vector DB in the bank's local environment. And because of implementing this corrective RAG, the hallucinations have reduced to a very large extent. So in one of the banks where we implemented, we saw a good amount of reduction in the hallucination part. And Dogbot, as we mentioned, it completely focuses on the regulatory reporting guidelines for RBI, because in RBI or any other regulator, the chances of hallucination would lead to a lot of penalty and fines. So we are working in that direction where we are trying to improve the corrective RAG and take it a notch further, and also trying to implement graph RAG as well.
Okay, if you can use one sentence to differentiate your product, right, from the alternative one, what would you say? Because we know right now, right, there are many kind of related platforms, right, relying on large language models and trying to make things more automated and systematic, right? So what would you say?
So I think the only thing from the generative AI part is that we have the model which has been trained as of now on the RBI data. We have almost utilized most of the indents from an RBI and built up the corrective RAG. So the key value proposition is that for an RBI data, we have the hallucination is almost negligible, because this is one of the key areas for the regulations for the bank, and they have compliances associated with it. So this is trained and purpose built for the RBI regulations within them.
And just to add to that, Professor Zhang, as you saw in the demo, we have a couple of layers before we come to GenAI and AI/ML. Unfortunately, the AI/ML part was left out of the. We only saw a part of it, but the whole curated data, which Neeraj explained earlier, the whole data federation gets us the data till that point, and from there we use that input data for our GenAI and machine learning models. So this is an end-to-end cycle wherein we refer directly from the source system till the end business user who uses the GenAI. So we have tried to complete all the dots. However, in other scenarios, we see a prevalence of data marts and data warehouses, which our data federation layer actually helps to remove those anomalies.
Yeah. I think
Thank you.
Bhupesh actually asked a question that how we are competing with fabrics of the world and the Denodos of the world. The very simple answer is they are general purpose platform, but our solution has been designed for the banking, where we have predefined data products and the AI products purpose built for the banking industry itself.
Thank you, Govt.
Thank you.
Now, so this RAG can only resolve the issue of hallucination.
Yes.
It cannot really handle the false positive and false negative, right? And specifically in banking case, this also becomes very critical.
Absolutely, sir.
Right. So how you are handling, and you have put this false positive and false negative in hallucination bucket, which is theoretically and technically wrong. You should really keep it separate. But coming back to the question, how you're handling this false positive and false negative?
So, as in the case of Bhupesh, if I understand your question correctly, so as in the case of queries, and what we have done is there we have a feedback mechanism wherein the user can enter training data. Now, training data can be entered through various means. It can be entered through documentation. It can be entered through DDL or SQL queries itself. Also, there is a feedback mechanism. So, as you rightly mentioned, any model is not 100% right at the first go. So there is a feedback mechanism wherein we take feedback from the end customer as well. So if a query output.
Okay, so let me take a step back. So are you just relying on LLM model to really do any kind of prediction or generating the analytics, or you're actually also doing ML before that?
We
Or
are
just
doing that.
everything to LLM?
Yeah. I'll just give you an example. So what we have done in recommendation algorithm is, so recommendation algorithm is predominantly done by using ML algorithms.
Right.
What we have done is we have taken a three-pronged strategy. First is doing the ML part, wherein we do the ML part and see, okay, so this is a new record. If there is a customer, what is the new product that he or she can be recommended? Now, the same record in a recommendation data set can be treated as a whole vector. So one record becomes one vector for me. When a new record comes in.
So Abhishek, so that also really opens another question. Are you trying to really position it as a say product which any customer can really use, or you use it to really provide the services? Because the recommender system and other stuff, classical machine learning is more of a service. Building up a product is extremely difficult.
Right. So basically what we are doing is we are trying to combine the power of both ML and GenAI as well as LLM. So we are trying to say that, okay, if there is a case for recommendation algorithm, the machine learning output can be augmented using our vector search and vector database as well, which will give it a foolproof kind of output.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you so much.
Fatma, your question, please. The time is up, but still, we will take your question, ma'am.
Just a simple question. You're talking about LLM here. Have you built your foundation model LLM, or have you implemented different LLM and then decided on using one in particular? What exactly you've done in this regard? Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. So, ma'am, we have implemented as of now, because banking is a secure environment. We have used open source Olama server, and we have used LLM 3.1 as of now. But we have evaluated from the cost perspective. We have evaluated OpenAI, we have evaluated Anthropic, and we have evaluated different vector databases as well, such as open source Pinecone, AstraDB, etc., and then compared the performances across all these LLMs, and then came up with a solution. So for query gen, the differentiator which we have is it can operate on a combination of any vector DB and any LLM, and whichever LLM and vector DB combination the bank or the organization is comfortable with, we offer that same package to the customer. Hope that answers your question, ma'am.
Thank you. One more question, if I may ask, or
Yeah, ma'am,
that's
please.
because we're running out of time. It is related to security of the system. How can you guarantee the security of this system, especially when it comes to banking?
Right. So, ma'am, first of all, for this LLM part, we have a very secure environment. Using an open source, we have it is a closely guarded and guardrailed solution which we provide. We had concerns, as you rightly mentioned, there are security concerns because bank, obviously, or any other organization does not want the data to go to the internet and the data to be shared. So we have also taken care to comply with DPDP, which is the Indian Data Privacy Act, as well as we have also taken care that the GDPR Act, wherein we have 4 or 5 principles of data privacy, that those are also complied with.
That's all, I believe, from the jurors team. And thank you for answering all the questions. Wish you the best.